I am the original T. Not about drama, let's get ourselves free. I am the original T. I'll tell you some stories, we'll look for that key. I am the original T. Let's talk about life, it's as fast as the sea. I am the original T. Let's all find a path, we'll live it and let it be.
Hi, it's me. It's T. This is a Tea Talk. So this falls under Tea Talks. I sat around thinking, what do I want to talk about on this talk? What do I want to share? I've got a few years behind me, so there's quite a few things that could be spoken of. But I think let's just dig in to one of the more uncomfortable and yet powerfully life-changing times of my life. We'll call this one time I moved all the way to Alaska. Sight unseen. Drove the Alcan with my then second husband and my child, who I am doing my best to keep anonymous because it's only fair. So let's backtrack just a tiny little bit here. So I left home when I was 17. We'll go into that another time. But I came back home when I was 19 with my then 1-month-old. So in the course of that time in Arizona, where I lived, I met someone, and I was very young. I was 20. Boy, did I just clear a lot of stuff off my plate at an early age. I think I must have had like this sign, more research is needed, across my forehead. But anyway, there is this thing that has chased me around for a lot of my lifetime. It comes, it goes. It sits on my shoulders sometimes, and then sometimes it leaves. And it's called insecurity. And it's called self-doubt. And it's called just fear of the unknown. And I bet all of you can relate to that at some point in your life or another. So there I was, getting married in Las Vegas. It wasn't a drive-through, and it wasn't an Elvis thing. So just, I have some boundaries, okay? So I did that. I got married to this gentleman, and we decided to go to Alaska in a very small town because we could make more money at that time. And I was a hairdresser, and he did logging, which is quite good if you can have that gig, if that's what you do. So I moved there and I quickly got back into work as a hairdresser, got my license transferred up to Alaska from Arizona. And some of the first inklings and whispers that I had from people of the town that we went to, because it was the ex's hometown, was, why is someone like you married to someone like him? And I started hearing more stories, and I was like, well, in all my 21 years of very little experience and headstrongness, I was like, well, I'm sure it's fine. He's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. It already wasn't fine, I'll tell you that. But it got worse. So some of the first things that started to happen, let me just give you kind of like a visual representation, right? I'm in a town of about 1,500 people. So literally everyone knows everyone. Everyone. I moved in, X and I and my little one, got a little mobile home to sit on his family's property, which was big. He was a Native American, Aliyu and his family had some lovely property there. So as we were getting in there, because we drove up the Alaska-Canada highway, then got on a ferry, and then got to this town, and as we were driving through the town, I said, "Where's the town?" He said, "You just missed it," because there was at that time 1 or 2 stop signs, not even a stoplight, a post office, and 2 grocery stores, and 1 gas station or petrol station. So I was still like, this is cool. Wow, this is cool. But on the way there, the oil spill happened. If you haven't heard about it, look up the Exxon Valdez oil spill and you'll find out more. It was incredibly devastating to the people of Alaska, and especially to the people of Valdez and the other town where I lived, a coastal town. So there we were. We got there, drove in, and the first thing I see a house, which is where we're going to stay for a few weeks so we can get something to put on the property, right? And in the middle of this is a junkyard, is a bunch of cars, old cars just everywhere, abandoned old cars that have been collected. To do what with? I still don't know, because I never saw anything happen with any of them. Yeah. And also, so the family was living in a new HUD house. HUD. So HUD being from the government. If you're not from America, or even if you are and you don't know what it is, it's a type of governmental housing that they paid for at one point. I don't know if they still do it or not. But it was a nice 1-story house, also known as a bungalow here in England. And to the very furthest end of this property was the childhood home. So we get there, we get settled in, we start, myself and my little one, start kind of like looking around, and for a little one, as far as outdoors go, that's all great, because you can throw them right in the mud and in the snow, bundle them up, they can have a great old time. If it wouldn't have been a bad situation, which it was. And when I say it's bad, I mean it is emotional, psychological, physical, not good to people. Word. Which we're on YouTube, so you know what I mean. That didn't show its full-blown self for a little while, but there were inklings, there were signs, which I was ignoring, because I had left home and told my family I was doing this, and I was all of 21, and I wasn't going to admit defeat or that I'd made a mistake, and I wasn't sure. I thought, I'll give this guy some time. I mean, maybe he needs my help. Maybe I can help him. Maybe that's what he needs, is to be loved. So, anyway, as we're exploring, I walk into this old house, and it is still standing. So it was a family of like 6, 7 kids, and the mom and dad, and they hoarded everything. There was a huge workshop, and in that workshop was every lunchbox for each child in one area. You know, glasses, just furniture, a Viewmaster with the reels, which I saved. Well, because it was in a damp place, and as time goes on and time goes by, you'll say, good, I'm glad you got something out of that. Anyway, so there we are. And as time goes on and time goes by, we get our very first place to live, which is a single wide old mobile home from basically from a different junkyard. And we had a bathtub. We didn't have running water, so we had to kind of pipe it through like a hose into the bathtub. And we were heating water on the stove, on a wood burning stove. That's how we kept the house warm. So this girl from California, who was, okay, maybe a little bit fancy, lived a little bit of a fancy life, was like, okay, well, I'm going to learn to chop wood and boil water and do this. So we were washing, I was washing the dishes in the bathtub. And my poor little one was finding out what it was like to live out there, and exploring. And both he and I grew to learn that we were not really safe. And these things started to show up as displays of impatience, frustration. Like, it ended with a chainsaw being thrown at the front door because the ex, got angry about it not working. So when things would break, things would get thrown. In fact, that's scary. That's scary. He would do things to the little one, like act like he was gonna do something, and then just go like that with his hair, like real mature. And I was like, don't do that. To the point where my little one was flinching. And very quickly, I found out a lot of things. I'm not really sure what all I can go into. I'm not naming names, so that's good. Not naming the location, really. But I found out that the ex's father had spent time in prison for essay of family members, children, his own daughters. One of those daughters had a child, and she died in a plane crash. So we don't know much more about that, or who's the father of that child was. It's a long time ago now. Just all tragic. We tuned into Radio Tragic, okay? Radio Scary. And as I began to blossom out and do things, like I decided to do some theater. My son was going to school by then, trying to participate, trying to become part of the community, because it was, it did have its nice parts and it had its bad parts too. So I'm just trying, right? I'm trying to work, I'm trying to figure out what to do, and it is playing in my mind that we're not going to stay there. We're not going to stay there. I came home one day from work, and the ex was sitting in our bedroom cleaning one of his many guns. It's Alaska, and pro or not pro, a lot of people have guns, especially if you're taking walks out in the wilderness. I'm talking, it's the wilderness. There are bear. It's bear country. So, you better know what you're doing with one if you're going to have one, and you better take it really seriously. I don't think it really belongs in lots of other places, except for when you're out in the wilderness, that sort of thing. That's just a story for another day. Anyway, he's sitting there polishing a gun. He's got several of them on the bed. It's like Alaska, so I'm just like, okay. So I'm starting to make dinner. Little one is out and playing. Friend. X is cleaning the gun, and we make eye contact at some point while he's cleaning the gun. And has it, and he's cleaning it, and he looks up, looks at me, and says, I wonder what would happen if one of these went off in your face. And then went back to cleaning it. At that moment, I was just like, what? And so he put everything away, gathered up all his stuff, and where he worked was not far from our house, and he would spend an enormous amount of time over there, sometimes just disappear. And he started doing this more and more, disappearing, which was freaky, because then I was like, where are you? Because I need to keep my eye on you, and I don't really know what to do right now, and I'm scared. And so I sneaked myself a Ruger handgun, I'm just gonna say, and I made sure that I knew how it worked, just gonna say, because I was terrified, and it was such a small town. I was like, who do I talk to? What do I do? And I was still such a child that I couldn't call home and say, this is bad. Oh my God, I blew it. I messed up. And I was like, no, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out. But I'm scared, and so I took to sleeping with that weapon under my pillow when the ex wasn't around, because I was scared he would come home and do something. And so the house, it's a mobile home. We kind of it was just all open plan, lots of it. The bedroom could see the front door. It was just strange. Trust me, it was strange. So that went on for a very little while, because, as I told you, I got into the local theater, and when I did, I finally found some friends, and some friends that I could talk to, and I talked to one of my friends, a lovely, lovely lady, and I said, I'm scared, and this is really embarrassing, and I know I'm a terrible person, and I'm a horrible mom, but this is what has happened, and this guy is not safe, and we're not safe, and I want to stay here, but I don't want to stay in this house. And she, within 2 or 3 hours, calls me and says, get everything that you want to take with you, be ready, make sure he's not there. If he happens to come there, you let us know. But it was a time where he would be gone. All of a sudden, 3, 4 pickup trucks come to the house. And very quickly, we load everything into those trucks. I say goodbye to all my little cats, because we had cats. Popcorn was one of the cats that I had. And for 1 second, she was there, and I saw her, and I loaded the truck, and I turned around, and she was gone. I guess she said goodbye. And I took my little car. No, I didn't. I didn't take my little car. I took a crappy, beat-up truck. That's right. because my car, I was told, was really busted and not working anymore and needed like a whole new block, like a transmission. Everything was blown. And so that got somehow put into the warehouse. And I have this beater truck. I'm not kidding you when I tell you it was like the Flintstones truck. You could see the ground on some of it because it was so rusted out. Anyway, that's what I had at the time. And we left, and I got to rent a place from another really lovely lady and her family, and it was a 1-bedroom, and that's where I and my little one went. And started over. I had to go speak to a lawyer so that I could understand what to do. Because I didn't want anything. I just wanted to leave everything there at the house and just go and just take our little belongings and go. And this lawyer is like, look, no, you need to have some things from that house because you've got a child. First of all, you need the better vehicle, which was a good truck that the ex was driving around while I was driving around a really unsafe beater and driving little one around. So that all got done, and we ended up with a better truck. And some things I didn't really want that. I just didn't want that much. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll earn it my damn self. I earned that stuff. I'll earn some more stuff. I'll just work. I'll work. I can work. In that time, so you know that I've talked about therapy and the toolbox and that whole thing of if you don't have all the tools, you can find them. Well, that was my first running jump at getting help for me and my little one because we were both not okay. And I needed help and he needed help. And so we got some help. A lot more things happened, a lot more things. I joined a support group. I joined this support group of other women, and it was really weird because there was this new girl who came in, and she was from Louisiana, and she was sweet, young girl, even younger than I was at the time, and had 2 little kids. And so we'd go around this room talking. It was a once-a-week support group for women of bad things happening to them and their children. So, a time came that I was sitting in this room one day, and we were going around the circle and talking, and I thought I smelled the ex's cologne. It was weird. And I was just like, you know, because that olfactory thing is really like runs deep, right? Like when you smell it, your mind goes straight to there. And I was just like looking around the room. I'm like, God, a bit scared here. Did he come in? Is he around here somewhere? And it all of a sudden dawns on me that this person across from me talking, the new girl from Louisiana, is wearing this leather jacket. And when we get up to say goodbye to each other, sometimes we gave each other a hug or just talked a little bit, and she came up to me and said, hi. You all right? Doing all right? And I said, yeah, I'm doing all right. And I realized when she got closer that cologne was coming from her. And when I had a darn good look, she was wearing the ex's leather jacket. So, I'm like, no, because this woman was in the group saying that she had moved to this town to be safe and to get away from a difficult situation in the lower 48. And, time goes on and time goes by, and she had been talking about this new relationship she was starting, and I come to realize that relationship was with my ex. And so, it's always a crapshoot, right? Uh, it's always a crapshoot. What are you gonna do? So I talked to the therapist who was running the support group and explained to her that this person is dangerous, that this person is extremely dangerous to children, and for little girls, dangerous in a different way on top of it all. I came to find out. So I talked to this therapist and I made up my mind that I was going to have a word with this young lady. And I did. But you're always gonna have the risk of sounding like you're bitter or jealous or, and they're gonna take it how they take it. And the younger you are, the harder it's gonna be, especially if you've not had a lot of help emotionally with your baggage. So anyway, I pull her aside. I said, let's have a cup of coffee because I want to talk to you for a second. Are you dating so-and-so? And she said, yeah. And I said, do you know I'm the ex, don't you? And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. And I said, you have 2 little ones, don't you? You have a boy and you have a girl. And she said, yeah. I don't know what your problem was with him, but he's nice. And he's nice to my kids. And I'm not worried about it. She was just like a younger version, southern version of me. Little blonde hair, wearing the oversized jacket of his. And she was just staring me down. She was ready for it. And I just said, I'm just going to say that he's not safe to be around kids. No. He's done no work about that. And your daughter is doubly unsafe. Okay? And why do you think I'm here in this support group? And she's like, well, I'm fine. And that was like 3-4 weeks after I left. Yeah. After I made my big escape. And I'm working 3 jobs, right? So I'm doing hair, bartending, or working at a liquor store, and working at the town council. But I think I'm at the bar during the day somewhere. I might have no, I was at a salon, and we had had our back doors open, and so there was a road that went the second road. There's the main road and there's the second road, and all of a sudden somebody says, oh my God, Dee, look outside, holy. And I look and I hear this clanky sound. It's my car that I was told was broken and no good anymore, the one we drove up the Alcan, with cans attached with little strings, with a sign on the back that says, just married. They were just married. She married him. So, I got divorced. She got married. And she wasn't gonna listen. And she stayed for a little while, but then at some point she left, and when she left, she left the state. She was gone. I don't know what happened to her. Hope she's all right. And I hope to hell her kids are all right. Because I don't know. I just know, thinking back on it, that I and my son were in more danger than I realized. And to think back on it now is really scary. And there are still days where I do feel like crap, because I should have known better, I put my son in a dangerous situation, put myself in a dangerous situation. And, we worked we worked through some of that, but you know, you're not going to remain unscathed, are you, as a kid who's exposed to that? So that's something that hangs around with me, though my little one is grown and is absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of him. And he is emotionally intelligent, and he is a father, and he's a damn good father. Anyway, yeah, so I know that was heavy. It was heavy for me anyway. I don't know if you were holding your breath, but I was. So yeah, that's a not sexy time in my life. And I said it was a time for learning as well as a time of failure. And it was. Because I did fail. And I did make the wrong decision. And not only did I suffer, but my little one suffered. Yeah, I got us therapy. I did what I needed to do. And eventually we left that place and we went back down to the lower 48. And I was just really, really lucky that we escaped with our lives. I think that back then, and maybe a little while longer than that, up until maybe my late 30s or early 40s, my picker was broken. They call it bad picker. Don't be picking people. Don't. And, you know, that was it. I stayed out of relationships for a very long time after we left Alaska, because I knew that it was important to get my butt to work. I needed to. Unfortunately, I had to work all the hours God sent, as they say. But I started as a receptionist and at this .com place. And because I'm the kind of person that, like I said, I left home when I was 17, which means I did not finish high school. But I always believed that I could learn, right? So as long as you can learn, you have the ability to learn, to retain information, you can change, you can grow, it can be different, the world can change. And that is what was in my head. And by the time I got there, I thought, I'm going to learn how to type really fast. And I can type like the wind blows, just so you know. Mavis Beacon, I think it's called. Back in the day when I had my gateway computer. Cool. And I got a receptionist job for $10 an hour. No insurance. For a year, I worked as part of the facilities department. But you know what? I was so happy to be there. I was happy to be in a crap apartment without being scared all the time, and my little job. And it was all right. And we were kind of broke, but not broke all the way. And I met another person who became a best friend of mine. We did some stints together when we were doing temping work. That temping work got me into that .com, and then they took me on as the receptionist. And then over time, people from the back, from the licensing department, would come ask me to fax things for them or to file things. And I thought, I wonder if I ask these people, because they're good, they're nice folks. Man, they were nice. I was like, could you show me how this works? Like this, I'm interested in this licensing thing that you do for software, and I think I can learn it. And I'd like to be in the position that maybe in a year from now, if there's an opening, I could send in my resume / CV. You know what? Because I didn't know what I didn't know. And it's always been that way for me. And it's been a blessing, let me tell you. Because I'm like, what the hell? I'll learn it. Can I dance? I can dance. Can I skate? I'll skate. Can I do licensing for software? Hell yeah. So anyway, these kind people taught me, I learned, And a year went by and I was hired in as a teammate. And in another year, I became a team lead. And in a year after that, I was customer support manager. And then after that, I actually invented a process to keep people from accidentally pirating things. Let's just say it was for compliance, software compliance. Because I just figured it out. I realized that we were leaking revenue, like it was going. We were bleeding all sorts of money because these people were still using the old licenses they were supposed to get rid of and getting new ones. And so put something together because I didn't know I couldn't. Nobody said, well, girl, you don't have a university behind you. You don't have, what do you have? And so I put my little proposal together. I learned how to do it. And I went to the manager's manager. And then the CEO said, yeah, let's try it. We'll try it. And then eventually they let me have a teammate who's fabulous too. Oh my God, I met some good friends there. Yes, I did. I met some lifelong friends there. But yeah, I stayed there for, I think, about 10 years. And then I left. And then I think it was during the time that I had like my gastric bypass. And then I got headhunted by a Fortune 10 company. This other company I worked for was Grassroots, and then they got taken over, and then they got taken over, and so I wrote all that out. But by the end of the day, I was up there in corporate software America and England until just about 2 years ago. Now it's going to come up on 2 years, where I decided to change my entire life and get a different role. And it's been a year since I've left the one company and started my life as a funeral celebrant, a funeral arranger, and an end-of-life doula. And also do readings, you know. But anyway, this is a tea talk, so we're staying on the tea, okay? So this was some tea, no drama, because yes, there was drama, and yes, there are still some hurts there for both me and my little one, right? Because like I said, you don't just go unscathed, but you do realize that there are people out there who can help you get your head straight. And I have taken advantage of that and done what I could to straighten up and fly right for a while now, for quite some time now. But it's, like I said, ain't no shame, to go and get some help if you need it. And to say, I'm in trouble, don't wait too long, I was in really severe danger, and so was my little one. And so I guess what to take away from this, it's hard to be honest with yourself. It's hard to admit that you failed. It's hard to be 19 and 20. It's hard. And to have a kid at the same time. It's hard to start over. It's hard to say I did it wrong. I did it so wrong. Yeah. I still get a bit choky on that one. I did it so wrong. And is it okay? Well, no. It is and it isn't, right? We live and we learn and we change and we grow, and that's good. But man, I wish I could take it back. But I can't lounge around in regret, because that has a price tag on it that I can't afford. And neither can my family afford that price tag of regret. So instead, do no harm. Go forward. Do something good in this day. Stay in this day. Focus on this day. Keep your eyes on the prize. And if you're slipping, sliding, alone, need help, say so. Find someone you can trust. Sometimes you have to be a bit stealthy to get safe. I got safe, and I've been safe, and little one is safe and ruling his world very well. So anyway, that's my story, and God knows if you're going to want to listen to all this. I have no idea. You know, it may just be like, what's this woman going on about? But if not, and you can relate to this, talk to me. You know, that was when I was in my 20s, into my 30s. I divorced before I was in my 30s even, but I'm 57 now, just saying. So much happens, but some things just stay, and you have to find a place for them so that you can learn to forgive those parts of yourself that just weren't the best you. And when you know better, you do better, right? And always ask for help. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go. And I'm just gonna say I love you more than my luggage. And we're all just walking each other home, right? So thanks for listening to this. Oh God. Maybe you should charge me for the therapy session that we just had. Alright, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say bye for now and take good care. See you again soon.